What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Facility Management Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Javier, and today's topic is something that I've had a few people ask me recently, is what's my current marketing stack? And yes, like for a facilities management company, and if you don't have a marketing stack, we get a problem. Okay, so what marketing stack do I use? And, why do I use them? So I'm going to give you my game plan, what I use right now for RapMate. And this is what I would recommend for you guys to use for your integrated facility management company. Okay. So, and if you're like, well, those are two different companies. Don't look at like RapMate and like your IFM company as like two different ones. Look at it as in like, they're basically doing the same thing in different industries. All right. Let's just understand that. Like RapMate is an aggregator. We basically get a whole bunch of jobs for wrapping vehicles from all over the country, and then we sub out the work to like installers around the country. And that's what an IFM does, right? So I'm telling you that it works, okay? So this is what you need to do for your marketing stack for your IFM company, right? Number one, I guess you could say SaaS product that I would recommend you having is HubSpot. And actually, quite frankly, I'm going to say this right now. Right now, I'm not an affiliate to be offering HubSpot, but I will be shortly. Okay, so when you sign up for HubSpot, make sure you use the link that I would share with you in this podcast later. Okay, so it'll probably be before or after, and also on our website. And I will get a little bit of credit for it. And you're like, well, how much money are you getting? I don't know, a few bucks or something. But like, if I'm giving you all these tools, and you trust me, allow me to make a little extra money because I'm referring you to these like awesome tools, because you probably never would have found them. But HubSpot, definitely use them, okay? I would recommend using them for their sales platform, so Sales Hub, for their marketing platform, which is called Marketing Hub, and also for their service platform, which is called Service Hub. You can use those three, and they would probably work just fine for your facility service company. Okay, so trust me on those three. It's going to be pricey. I'll tell you that right now. And if you're like, well, it's just too much money. Well, how much is it too much money, or do you have a lot of time? Are you okay with your team just sitting there like, managing things on the spreadsheets and shit? Like, probably not. Okay. Like, so just get with me. Trust me on this. You want to use HubSpot. All right. The next piece is, I use this tool for local SEO for two things, for local SEO and for citation management. So this product is called Bright Local. All right. So like BRIGHT local. So brightlocal.com. And so essentially what it is that it helps me create citations. Citations meaning where I have my business information submitted to different directories. And so instead of me submitting it myself, Bright Local will do that for me throughout the entire nation, okay, and all these major directories. And so Bright Local will help me do the citation piece. That does cost extra money from their normal like monthly program, but that's okay. And then they also have this thing called their local SEO management. And so even though you're an IFM and you're looking for national coverage and national jobs, you still want to rank high in the local market. Okay, so which one would I pick over the other for like national SEO or local SEO? Probably national. But once you kind of get that going, then start shifting to local SEO, and this tool will help you. There's a lot of tools within that will help you optimize your local SEO, meaning optimizing your Google My Business, setting up your geo grids, going after like local keywords and seeing how you're ranking on the search as well as on the maps. Like there's a lot of stuff behind it. So that's a tool that I would recommend using. The next tool is an SEO tool for like keyword research and this seeing how your website is doing for like SEO purposes. And it's called Ahrefs or Ahrefs. So it's ahrefs.com. All right, Ahrefs is a really cool tool. It is pretty pricey. It's about, well, I take that back. Depending on how much you're going to be using. If you're going to be using more of their basic, which most of you IFMs would be, it might be not nearly as pricey. Like, do you have to have this? If you plan on doing like an SEO strategy and you want to like start seeing if your SEO strategy is working and going after keywords that are kind of like low-hanging fruit and seeing how you're ranking on the search and all this other stuff, then yes. If you are just new to getting marketing going for your IFM company and like you're like the first marketing person that they hired, then no, don't put budget towards that. Like I would put budget towards like Bright Local versus Ahrefs. I would put budget towards like HubSpot's Marketing Hub versus Ahrefs. All right, so kind of get, hope that makes sense. But if you are, building up your marketing team, you definitely need Ahrefs. All right, so next SaaS tool that I use is Canva. Canva.com. This is my lifesaver when it comes to design. So I'm not a designer. I cannot design worth crap. But Canva makes me look like a genius. Okay, it makes me look like, man, I've got this amazing design eye, which I really don't. And so I would recommend you guys using Canva to help you create short post images. So if you're going to be creating an image for like LinkedIn, or if you're going to be creating a thumbnail on your YouTube videos, or if you're going to be creating an ad for your, Facebook ads or whatever that is, this is my go-to is Canva. And like, if you're going to be creating like cover art or anything like that, I just use that because they have like templates. And I want to say, if you buy the yearly package, it's like $120 a year. It's a drop in the bucket. Every IFM company needs to have Canva. Okay, this is like the go-to versus having to use Photoshop or trying to find a designer to do something. Like I can whip out something in 30 minutes in Canva, and it looks pretty legit. Okay, so definitely go with Canva. All right. Next piece is MailChimp. So if you need an emailing software, we use MailChimp. You're like, well, don't you also have Marketing Hub? Like, yes, we have that as well too. And there's a long story behind that. I'm not going to dive into that, but just understand that we're eventually going to be sending all of our emails through Marketing Hub. But right now we're also using MailChimp. MailChimp is actually free up to X amount of contacts. And then after that, you start paying a monthly subscription. And so totally worth it. MailChimp is for emailing purposes. So you can be sending out emails to your list, which you should be on a weekly basis. Yes, I said that, weekly, at least once, if not twice per week, to your contact list. And no, they're not going to hate you. And if they unsubscribe, good, because you didn't want to talk to someone that doesn't want to actually buy from you. Think about it. Do you want to sell something that someone doesn't want to buy from you? No. So let them unsubscribe from you. Okay, that very simple. But with that, MailChimp is definitely one of the it's pretty good emailing software out there. So that's what we use for ourselves. When it comes to like podcast editing, or when it comes to just editing like voice, just anything with this, I use GarageBand. So I have an iMac. I'm sorry, I don't have an iMac. I have a MacBook, and I basically edit everything on GarageBand, and I edit everything in iMovie. So those are the two things that I use. And the reason I have a MacBook is because most marketers that are worth their salt are using a MacBook, okay? I use a MacBook Pro to be more direct about that. But GarageBand to do editing for podcasting, great tool, super simple. Could I use a third-party company to do all my podcast editing? Probably. Would they make it sound way better than what I'm currently doing? Yeah, 100%. Do I want to put budget towards that right now? Not really. Should I get that off my plate so I can focus on other areas? Yeah, totally. But I got a couple things I got to work on. But, I can whip through these things pretty quickly. But yeah, iMovie and GarageBand, they're like my go-to when it comes to like video editing and audio editing as well too. When it comes to posting on social media, Hootsuite is a top one out there, and we are currently not using it right now because HubSpot has a social media posting software. It's not as robust as Hootsuite, so I will say that that's the frustrating part about these social media posting platforms, is that they all have something that I wish the others did and didn't have. And so it's just kind of frustrating. So Hootsuite's one of the bigger ones out there. I would recommend using Hootsuite for your social media posting. So if you're going to be posting regularly on social media and you don't want to just go on there online every single day and post something, then you can use your scheduling software, and it's really simple. So Hootsuite, definitely consider using that. When it comes to video recording, like doing like little short video recordings, I like to use Loom, and that's what we use internally. I just use the free one. I think if you record anything that's under 5 minutes, it's completely free, and you can, I think, store up to like 25 videos or something like that in the library. Just like, it's great. Loom essentially records my screen and myself, and then I create a link, and then I can just send that link, and then people can just like watch it. Okay. If you don't want to use Loom and you already have a subscription to Zoom, all right, then use Zoom, ZOOM. All right. So those are your options when it comes to video. All right. So the next part for analyzing website traffic and analyzing like how people are finding us in search, I use 2 free tools, which is called Google Analytics and Google Console. Those 2 can literally transform your entire how you set up your website, like completely. Okay, Google Analytics is very robust, and it can be a little overwhelming, and it can be a little complicated to set up. Okay, I use it very high level to just analyze traffic and analyze how people are coming to us and analyze some other things. And then when it comes to Google Console, I use that to see how people are diving into certain pages and what pages are actually doing better than others. And so those 2 pieces, they're free tools that you can just use, and you'd have to put a snippet of code into your website to use them, but I would definitely recommend using those. The last 2 for file management, because like now these computers are coming less and less like robust with a hard drive and more like cloud-based stuff. Dropbox is what we use, and we also, I personally, I'm a G Suite kind of person. So if you have G Suite, then just put everything in there. If you don't have G Suite, then put it in Dropbox. But you want to have access to these files in the cloud, because that way, no matter where you are in the world, in the country, on your phone or any device, you can access those files and send them to clients or customers and that sort of stuff. And the last one is what we use internally to manage our tasks and to manage our projects and to manage our quarterly strategies is Asana, Asana. Asana is new to me, and I've been using it at Ratmate for, I guess, the past 4 months now. And it is amazing. It has kept me on track on so many different things, where we'll put things on there and then we create mini tasks based off of our strategy. And it's just a task management system, and you can use it very, really in depth, or you can just use it very, high level. I'm not really sure what it costs, what the subscription is, but there's other, tools out there. But I would really recommend having something like this, because if you've got all these goals, but you're not tracking your goals, then you're not going to be successful in achieving your goals. And so we're getting very close to actually hitting our quarterly goal of getting everything done for these projects. And what's amazing about this is that it's really helped us stay on track and keep us focused on like what's in front of us. Okay, so just kind of keep those things in mind. So that's pretty much it. That's my stack that I use at Ratmate, and this is what you probably should be using at your IFM company. So definitely some sort of HubSpot, CRM, like such as their sales hub is great. Their marketing hub is amazing. Some sort of local SEO tool to help you guys start ranking better locally in your city, in your town, which is right local. If you're going to be getting more into SEO and tracking your success in your SEO strategy, then Ahrefs is definitely a product that you want to be using. Canva for just designing quick designs on just like graphics and stuff like that, images, pics, thumbnails, banner ads, whatever that is, like that's my go-to. MailChimp for email marketing, GarageBand for audio editing, iMovie for video editing, Hootsuite for social posting and scheduling, Zoom or Loom for video recording. Analysis of your website is going to be Google Analytics and Google Console. Those are both free platforms. Dropbox for doing your file management on a cloud, and then Asana for task management. That's pretty much it. And the majority of my time I spend is probably on HubSpot. Okay, so that's our tech stack right there. But HubSpot is where I spend most of my time in there. And if you guys actually end up using HubSpot, you'll understand why, because it's amazing. I mean, the thing is it just blows my mind on what you can do with it. We're getting to the point where we're pushing the limits of HubSpot, which is great. Like that's what you want to do with software. So with that, I hope you guys found this very interesting. On the tech stack that I'm using, this could all be used very easily for your IFM company. Now, I know that some of you guys are like, well, what about, other technologies for, like CMMSs and other stuff like that? Like, I don't use those softwares because I'm not, currently right now in that space. But let me tell you something. The thing that lacks in the IFM industry is not that there's so many like CMSs out there and people are, double and triple inputting content. They're not, a lot of these softwares are not being written very easily to access to where people can just not API into it and then get charged like an arm and a leg like what other companies are doing, but like have a Zapier connection. It's almost as though in the entire SaaS industry, Zapier is kind of like the thing that connects everything without having an API connection, and that's what's holding back the IFM industry. Is that you guys that are in the SaaS space and facilities management? Okay, so I'm not going to call it companies, but you know who you are. But you guys that are in the SaaS space for facility management companies that are creating some sort of form of CMMS or asset tracking management system or all other things. And if you're not creating your software to where Zapier can connect easily and they can communicate, then what you're doing is you're doing a disservice to the industry. Because now what's happening is that there's people that are trying to basically just run a business and they're using 3 or 4 different CMMSs because their customers use like this product and the other product and this other product, and they're inputting different things in different softwares. But if everything just had a Zapier connection and you didn't have to pay thousands of dollars per month to have an API connection, and I get it, like I understand you're trying to make money, but there comes a point where making money is not the most important thing. It's creating efficiencies to where like I use you because you make my life so much better and I'll only use you. And that is worth more than getting an extra $1,000 for an API connection per month. Do you see what I'm trying to get to? Because then now they're going to share that to Joe, and they're going to share that to Jack, and they're going to tell Sally, and they're going to tell Susan, and like they're going to tell all their friends. And so I really wish to see more Zapier type connections. And if you're like, what the hell is Zapier? I probably should have had this on this list, but most of you guys wouldn't understand. Zapier basically just pushes data from one place to another place, and it creates triggers, and it makes your life so much easier. So an example would be is like, if I sent an email to John every Tuesday at 4 p.m., I can have a trigger where that email then sends like a response to like whatever, and then it can connect to like maybe my Facebook or whatever that is. Like, do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, I can create triggers, or I can move data. Like, as soon as I get an inbound lead coming into, say, my HubSpot, I can have that pushed into one of my CMMSs. So like, if there was more CMMSs out there that had integrations with Zapier, you would be ahead of the game. I'm telling you that right now. As opposed to demanding API connections, like just connect to Zapier and have an open communication with Zapier and then train people how to use Zapier, okay? Not how to use it, but how to use your software and connect it to Zapier to solve their problem. And as soon as you do that, you have a lifelong customer. I promise you that, all right? And obviously you gotta take care of them, okay? So that is my soapbox, speech there. But yeah, so I know that there's some facility products or tools of technology that I'm not using because I'm not like in the actual industry as we speak, but I do consulting in the industry. But I can tell you that these tools help you succeed in the marketing side, okay? So understand that. This is gonna help you succeed in the marketing side, all right? When it comes to operational stuff, I don't mess with that kind of stuff, all right? So hope this was super helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. You can do 3 things for me, please. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and then connect with me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Javier Lozano Jr. And the last thing is share this podcast with somebody else. Let them know about it. Like, send them a link. Take 5 seconds. click the little link, share it with them, send them a text message, send them a DM, be like, you need to listen to this podcast because this guy Javier is dope and he's just talking about all this marketing cool stuff. And yeah, if you can do that for me, that would mean the world to me. All right. So really appreciate it. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.